Let's add a Polyline feature layer to our feature service in ArcGIS Online using the ArcGIS API for Python. Open up the Add Polyline feature layer.py script from the Add Layers and Tables folder. Similar to adding our point feature layer, we're going to add a Polyline feature layer using the feature layer collection manager add to definition method. At the top of our script, we are importing our GIS class and our feature layer collection class. We first use our GIS class to access ArcGIS Online. We supply in the home string and we assign our GIS object to a variable called AGOL. We're then creating a feature layer definition as a dictionary. Here we're going to set the ID to 1 because our point layer was 0. But if we do not add the ID, ArcGIS Online will automatically increment the ID by 1. The type again is feature layer. Our name is linear layer for training with FDM. Our description is user created linear layer. Our geometry type this time is Esri geometry polyline. We set the extent to be the extent of Ireland using WGS84 and longitude and latitude coordinates. We're going to create two fields. The fields property is a list. It is a list of dictionaries where each dictionary describes the properties for a field. Our first is our ObjectID field. It is type Esri field type OID. We'll then also create a text field called trail name with a type of Esri field type string and a length of 50. We need to cater for our ObjectID field in our feature layer that it is system maintained by ArcGIS Online. We first create an index entry, so each index is a dictionary and the index's property is a list overall. We're going to create a primary key here for our object ID. We set the index name and the description as clustered, unique and primary key. Slightly different to when we added our point feature layer, we are going to set the symbology for our linear feature layer. We're going to use the drawing info property that has a renderer property that controls the symbology for a line or a point or a polygon feature layer. We'll set the type to simple and then we create our symbol. Our type is Esri SLS, which stands for Esri Simple Line Symbol. The style is Esri SLS Solid and our color is going to be black with no transparency. So this is R, G, B and alpha for transparency. The width of the line will be 1 and our overall symbology will also have no transparency. We set our ObjectID field property to be the ObjectID field, and then our unique ID field property is a dictionary where the name is our ObjectID, and we are telling ArcGIS Online that this is system maintained by setting that to true. ArcGIS Online will handle the ObjectID field for us for our records. We then use the GIS object and the content manager get method to supply in our feature service item ID, which I'll paste in now from my notepad. The get method returns an item object of our feature service that we're going to assign to a variable called item. We then use that item object and create a feature layer collection object, which we'll assign to a variable called FLC. We'll then create a variable called status and we'll set that to equal our feature layer collection object, and we're accessing the feature layer collection manager object, and we want to use the add to definition method from our feature layer collection manager. We're going to set the JSON dict parameter to equal an empty dictionary. We're targeting the layers property for a feature layer collection, which is a list, and we're going to put our feature layer definition inside that list. We will then print status to screen and hope that we get success true and that our layer has been added to our feature service. I'm going to run this script. We can see we were returned success true, and for our layers property, the name linear layer for training with FDM with an ID of 1 was successfully added to our feature service. So let's head over to ArcGIS Online and check it out. Here I have the current state of the feature service where we have 1 point layer. When I refresh, we should see that our Polyline feature layer has been added. So I'll refresh now. We now have our point layer and our Polyline layer. If I hover over each one, if you see down the bottom left, the URL, we have sublayer equals 0. That's the ID. And we have sublayer equals 1 for our line layer. I'll click into the line layer. We can see that our summary, description, acknowledgements is empty. Enable attachments is disabled. If I click into data, we have our trail name field, and ArcGIS Online maintains a shape underscore length field. We have no data currently in our data set. If I check column visibility, we also have our object ID. And if I go to the visualization tab, we can see the symbology for our linear layer is black as we have set it out in the definition. So we successfully added a Polyline feature layer to a feature service in ArcGIS Online using the ArcGIS API for Python. Make sure to continue on to the next video in this series, and also make sure to subscribe. Take care.